Hello YouTube, welcome back. Chris here. Today I want to talk to you about the best tire lever ever made. Well, maybe. We'll see if this is. This is the Park Tool TL10, and I'm really excited to have gotten my hands on this because these are fairly rare tools. Believe it or not, this giant aluminum bar with this plastic piece on the end here is a tire lever. And super cool tool. I'm going to show you how it works, and we can discuss if this is indeed the best tire lever ever made. So let's do a demonstration here. So I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of how this tool works, and then we'll do a demonstration where I'll show you in real time how it will take a tire off. On one side of the tool, you'll see this little notched end. You'll notice it has two different diameter notches, a larger one and a smaller one. This is designed to hook onto the hub of your wheel. So on a wheel here, the larger hook is going to go on the cone of the hub. So it'll hook in just like that and allow it to pivot. The smaller hook is designed to fit on the axle, just like this. Now, keep in mind, this is a discontinued tool. They don't make this anymore. It was designed for quick release wheels. If you have a through axle hub, you may have difficulty using this. You probably can find some way to adapt it, either using the axle in the middle of the hub and hooking it to that, or maybe using some sort of pin that would fit in the hub that would hook into here. I'm sure you could find a way to do it, but it really is designed for quick release wheels. The other side of this tool has this plastic, more familiar looking tire lever. And this is going to slide up and down along this bar, and it has two hooks on it. It has a hook here that you're going to use to take the tire off, and it's also going to have a hook on this side that is going to help you put the tire back on. So let's do a demonstration of this. And after that, we'll have a little discussion of if this is indeed the best tire lever ever made. So as I mentioned, I'm going to take my plastic end here, and just like any other tire lever, I'm going to peel the tire back, stick it in, hook the bead, and pull it over the rim. You can then lock the tool down to this bar and slide the bar freely. At this point, we're going to take the bar and clip it to either the axle or the cone. On this particular wheel, it's got a really high protruding flange, so I'm going to use the axle. Otherwise, I would use the cone because it's a little bit more solid. Once this is hooked to the tire and the hub, you can start rotating it. And it will just work its way around the wheel and take the tire off, at least enough where you can get your fingers in here and take the tire off the rest of the way. Super easy to use on looser tires. I haven't necessarily tried it on a tighter tire. I would guess it'd be a little more difficult. But for the average bike tire, this works pretty good. Now putting the tire back on with this, let's get it started here like we normally would. And we get to the point where, okay, you would take a tire lever, like a normal one, stick it in and pry it on. Well, what you're going to do with this tool is you're going to use the hook on the opposite side, hook that over the rim of the wheel, same thing, hook this to the hub, and then you should be able to slide this along the rim and put the tire back on. Pretty cool. So overall, works pretty good. One other thing I really like about this tool, just like why I like a long-handled pedal wrench, as you can see right here, I punched a chain ring the other day and put two holes in my hand because I was not clear of the chain ring when I was using a pedal wrench. Well, with this tool, similar concept. You can do all your work up here with your hands out of the way of the spokes, especially if you have bladed spokes like this particular wheel. You're not going to slip with a traditional tire lever and knock your knuckles on the bladed spokes. So kind of cool, keeps your hand out of the way and is safe from hitting any metal sharp parts. So that's a really cool feature as well. Now let's dive in a little deeper here and discuss if this truly is the best tire lever ever made. So after looking at this tool and showing you how it works and trying it a few times, we can draw some conclusions whether if this is or is not the best tire lever ever made. Now let me start by saying this tool is super cool. I was so glad to find this. They're fairly rare. Had to pick it up on eBay because they don't make this anymore, so I couldn't just order it from Park. So I'm really glad to have it, and it's a great little piece of bike shop tool history, and really, proud to own it, and glad I got to do this demonstration. Now, with that being said, would I use this every day? Probably not. For an amateur person taking off a tire where they might struggle with it, don't have the technique down, definitely could be handy. Makes it real easy. Like I said, gets your fingers out of the way of the spokes, so you don't have to risk beating up your hands. But let's be honest, it's huge. I mean, majority of people are using a tire lever for flat fixes. Maybe once a year they're doing a tire swap, and they're doing it at home and taking the tires off at home. But most of the time, you're going to use a tire lever to remove a tire on the road or the trail. So something like this makes a lot more sense than something like that just because of the size. Nobody's going to carry that thing with them on their ride. Number two, this tool is an older tool, and it's designed for quick release hubs. Now, I'm sure you could find a way to use this on through axle, but it is a quick release tool, so a more modern version of this, if they were to still produce this, they probably would have updated it and make a TL 10.2, which would also work with through axle. But that is one drawback. So on more modern bikes, you would have trouble using it on their hubs without some sort of adapter or figuring out a way to do that. Overall, super cool. Glad I got to do this. In my conclusion, it's not the best tire lever ever made, but I'm also a firm believer that all tools have a place, and that just because it is big and bulky and more of a shop tool, it's really a unique piece of bike shop tool history, and something that I think is worth demonstrating and learning about. And I don't know, let me know what you think. I think it's definitely something worth noting and looking at. If you have any comments or know anything more about this or have any opinions about it, please let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe and like. I'm going to make more videos just like this. And let me know what you think. Thanks again.